So, you guys ready for another month of MCO? Hi guys, selamat berpuasa, wishing everybody an abundance of blessings this fasting month. So in conjunction with the month of Ramadan, Mitsubishi Motors Malaysia is offering fantastic promos for the Outlander, Triton and the ASX. So what's in store? We start with the Outlander. You get 2,000 ringgit cash rebates as well as 2-year free service subject to mileage restrictions, of course. If you buy the Triton, you get a choice between cash rebate or low interest rate. The cash rebate offer is 6,000 ringgit. If you are a Mitsubishi owner, they top in another 3,000 ringgit to give you 9,000 ringgit cash rebate. If you are the owner of a pickup truck from another brand, they give you an extra 2,000 ringgit on top of 6,000, which means 8,000 ringgit of cash rebates. The other option is for you to take a 0.88% interest rate versus a conventional 3% interest rate. The same installment budget, you can upgrade from a Triton premium model to the range topping Adventure X model for the same monthly installments. Okay, now with the ASX, if you bring a car to trade in, Mitsubishi Motors Malaysia will top in an extra 8,888 ringgit on your current car's resale value. Not only that, you get 5 years of free maintenance, subject to mileage restrictions of course, and 5 years warranty without mileage restrictions. Okay, so for further information, go visit, no, now MCO, right? Go contact your nearest Mitsubishi outlet to find out more about these very exciting promos.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi guys, so here's another episode of Q&A, and so we start with some feedback on my previous video of the Honda Civic FD. There were a lot of comments on that video. A few of you guys chipped in and shared your experience owning the car, and from what I looked through, right, most of you guys seem pretty happy with your ownership experience. Okay, so generally I think that Honda Civic really that car has aged well, and it's still very highly regarded by car enthusiasts. Okay, so Peter here, for example, he sold off his FD after 90,000 kilometers, 7.5 years of using, 0 issues. Oh, but he also highlighted one thing. Actually, if you want to check whether the Civic FD 2R, if you're buying a Type R, you want to verify that it's original or not, just check the grant. Okay, yep, you got a point. So Lance Po asks, heard that FD have issue like rear bearing issue, power steering related issue, and vibration during hard braking. What's your thought on this? The same Peter replied saying 7.5 years of ownership, 0 issues. So I believe what you're saying is that you did not face any of these problems that Lance have mentioned. Okay, that's good. I've heard of some of these things before regarding the Civic FD. Rear bearing, I'm not so sure. Power steering, vibration during hard braking. But you see, the thing is that these are all, from what I hear, they are either wear and tear. Wheel bearing is a wear and tear thing. Okay, vibration, it could be due to balancing, or it could be due to worn out parts. Okay, but either way, these are not issues that that will cripple your car. They are very easily fixable issues. So yeah, I did hear that the Civic FD is known to have suspension, pretty fast suspension bush parts wear, but seriously, not something very severe. And considering the sophistication of its rear suspension setup, I think it is only to be expected. Sun Huat I've owned the 2-liter before. Best car I had. Still feel it the best even compared to the BMW 330e. Wow, that's high praise. The 10th gen, I don't feel is as good as the 8th gen. Well, let's just say that both these cars are products of different era. All right, so yeah, so what constitutes best at that time versus what constitutes best as now probably is slightly different. But suffice to say, I think your sentiment is quite widely echoed amongst the enthusiasts. I think most people still think that definitely if you were to rank, if you ask any Honda enthusiast to rank the best, Civic of all times, right? The FD definitely will be easily in the top 3 of every enthusiast, I would think. Easily top 3, if not the top 2 or the best. Okay, Selva-Naden, I own one, still run after 9 years, less headache compared to your previous cars. Very good. Okay, so Lagi Bizarre, this one he has a very long testimony. So he had one from 2006 to 2012, the pre-facelift version. This is the 2-liter model with electric power steering. Didn't realize the dash was getting hot when the lights were on, but you did change your head unit. Okay, so yeah, so your car was not running the original center stack there. Some things you didn't like about the FD sound system. Original sound system sounded so thin. The highs were coming from everywhere, and there was no mid bass, no deep bass. Any other FD owners care to comment? Sound quality of your audio system? In fact, the Proton Waja sound system was better. Wow, that is thorough, man. Because, the Waja sound system is... firstly, the Waja sound installation is crap. And for you to be able to tell that the Waja sound system is better than the Civic, that is that is bad. Okay, there were hard plastics everywhere, though they were nicely put together. Yep. At least the top of the door cards had soft plastic all around. 3 wheel bearings failed, 2 from the same wheel. So yeah, somebody just now was asking about wheel bearing failure. This Lagi Bizarre faced this issue. You only notice when they failed when you saw unnatural wear on the tires. Original Goodyear NCT5 was so only. Oh, okay. So pre-facelift they give Goodyear NCT5 for the 2.0. When I tested it in 2009, they gave the 2.0 with Michelin Pilot Crusadas. So bit loud, dry, okay, direct grip, wet grip below average. Quickly change to Hankook Ventus V8 RS. Korean tires were night and day, better all around. Yeah, best thing, they were softer and quieter despite offering more grip. Things you like, design inside and out was amazing, still is. Engine was pretty powerful and responsive for its class, but coming from a 2.2 non-VTEC Honda before that, I immediately noticed the lack of torque down low. This was easily solved by revving higher, and despite doing this, the car was still frugal on fuel consumption. Handling was excellent for you. Took it up Genting, Kelawang, Camerons, KKB to Rao, Pulau Banding. Car handled itself well. Tuaran Boy, a friend used to own this during our high school time. We managed to stuff 10 people inside to go for tapao. One of the best memories ever, but please don't do that again, huh? Please don't do that again. Hi Con, let's see. Farhan Azik, FD still pretty okay. One of my favorite Civic generation. Golan H, my father has a 2008 Civic FD 1.8. Till today is running good. Enough power for daily use besides wear and tear. 250,000 mileage can still do Genting run. That made me buy Civic FC Turbo 1 year ago, but never going to be as legendary as the FD Civic. Well, here's another happy owner right there. Ichiro Takumi asks, how does this compare to the 9th gen Civic? Okay, I reviewed this on Auto. I wrote a review of the 9th gen Civic on AutoWorlds, alright, when it was launched. I reviewed both the pre-facelift and the facelift model. And at that time, my conclusion was that the 9th gen Civic, I think the starting point of the 9th gen Civic was that they did try to cut costs in some areas. So they dropped the rear double wishbones and switched the rear suspension to a multi-link. That was, I think, the biggest cost-saving measure they did. They retained the predecessor's powertrains. But what I think one thing the FB did improve over the FD really was ride comfort. The FB had far better ride comfort than the FD, and it did improve over the FD in certain areas, but generally it felt like Honda didn't exert the same kind of effort as they did when developed the FD. So you see, with the 7th Gen Civic, and when Honda introduced the FD, right, they made a jump. But when it was time to replace the FD, they just took a cautious step up, and that's something that consumers, they saw, they weren't very impressed by it. Okay, so you see, when the thing is that when you made such a big jump, okay, when you introduced the FD, consumers naturally expected a similar leap when you replaced the FD, but you didn't. So I think Honda learned that lesson, and kudos to them. When they went back to the drawing board with the Civic FC, they made a similar kind of leap again. And I think the Civic FC definitely has helped re-establish Honda's position, the Civic's position rather, as the benchmark of the C segment. As they like to say, right, the Civic is the C segment king in Malaysia. Okay, so that's all the feedback I have regarding the ownership feedback that I have regarding the Civic FD. And now let's just go through some question and answers. First question from Marco Marin. Is it worth to top almost 70k for Golf GTI from the TSI R line, looking for a new hatchback car? Question is, it's worth it, but the question is, do you appreciate the additional performance that the GTI has to offer? So you see, the standard Golf TSI is a fantastic all-rounder, decent pace, fantastic fuel economy. So my advice to you is go and test drive both the TSI and the GTI, and see for yourself whether that gap in performance from the GTI, from the R line to the GTI, is worth the 70k premium for you. Because if you look at it purely on merits, then I would say yes, it's a worthwhile top up, all right, because of the added performance, the improved chassis bits, the added street cred factor, right? When an enthusiast see you driving a GTI versus a TSI, their perception of you changes immediately. But the question is, when you get behind the wheel and you drive the Golf TSI, which is already very good, does the GTI offer you that much of a leap which you can use at your driving level, your driving capability, to fully enjoy that gap in the performance, right? So yeah, if you have the driving appreciation, if you have that appreciation for the added performance of the GTI, then yes, by all means. But otherwise, the TSI is a more than adequate car for your day-to-day use, or even for your enthusiast use, for that matter. Okay. Dev An asks, do also a review. This is in response to my Civic FD video also lah. Review of Mitsubishi Lancer GT09 to 2014. I don't actually have a review of the Lancer GT, but I have driven the Lancer Sportback as well as the Inspira. So yeah, I think maybe I'll visit those two cars in a future video. Auto Red Zone, what is your advice between 2011 2.5 Mazda6 and 2011 BMW 323i? Both cars are great, but of course, if space is if space is a requirement, then of course the Mazda 6 serves you better, and of course Mazda 6 also will be slightly easier for you on maintenance. But the BMW you get to enjoy the nice inline six smoothness, the balance of a rear wheel drive chassis, and the fact that it has a premium badge. Okay, so both are good, but question is what you want. If you need space, or you don't want such high maintenance, you want something that's easier to maintain, then go for the Mazda 6. And John Chui, commenting on one of my videos on the Honda Accord, the previous gen Accord, love to buy one second-hand in the near future. Something about long D segment sedans and the perception of uncle being an uncle car, which I like. Yeah. The previous gen Accord is a fantastic car, great. I would say that it's very comfortable. Inside, the interior is very, very well built. Okay, I mean, if you sit in a Civic and you jump to an Accord, right, the gap in interior quality is fantastic. I think even though from the outside it looks very boring, very plain, right, but that previous gen Accord is such a well built car, and it really does the job of being an executive car very, very well. Baldwin Chua asks, did you review the Peugeot RCZ previously? If you did, mind to share your thoughts here. Unfortunately, I have not, but Uncle YS recently on his channel posted a review of the car that's contributed by one of his viewers, so go check it out on his channel. And Achun R commenting on my Civic FD video. So 2009, father bought an Accord, became a Honda fanboy. So 2011, your turn to buy a C-segment car, and you were looking at a Civic 2-liter at 124,000 ringgit. Then nearby your house, there's also a Kia showroom. Went to check out the Kia Forte 1.6 with more safety features than the Civic at 80,000 ringgit. So the time everybody said not to buy the Kia, then you know what? My money, I buy what I want. So you bought a 1.6 6-speed Kia Forte with push start button. Yeah, great choice. After 8 years, 220,000 kilometers, never break down, only wear and tear. 2019 sold it for 20,000 ringgit to Kasim with a lot of scratch and a couple of holes on the seats. Downgrading to Kia Picanto GT line. Please review Kia Forte. Yeah, I shall. Okay, why not? And here's a bit of a trivia for you guys. Back in 2009, when NASA flew us to Penang to review the Forte. So they flew us to Penang and we drove the cars back from there. I remember we landed at the airport, got into the bus. That was my first time meeting Bobby. Okay, so that time sat next to me in the bus, then he introduced me what his magazine was about. That time it's called Wheels Weekly. He even gave me a copy. Yeah, and that was the start of our friendship then until now. So must say, yeah, feel very blessed, very privileged to have enjoyed his friendship over the years. And yeah, he's one of the few people in the industry whom I think yeah, he's well, sometimes he does say things that there's not to everybody's tastes, but I will say one thing, okay? 10 years of me knowing him, he has been nothing but a very genuine and sincere friend to me. So yeah, okay, that's for the record. And let's move on to my next comment. Junhao, thanks for answering my questions regarding the A5. So buy ready next year, join Enduro, or later this year, okay, depending when we can go. Yes, and to answer in response to who was it that asked just now? Tanis, hi, please share about Evo Enduro 2020. Really looking forward to it, as it will be my first super long road trip. All I can say right now is stay tuned. We will make an announcement soon, but as you know, now it's MCO with borders closed and all that. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of external factors that are beyond our control, but definitely, an Evo Enduro is on the table as soon as we are clear of this COVID-19 crisis. Palaniapan requests that I review the Honda City 2014 V-Spec. Yes, sure, I can do that. 8 Music Fan, throwback review Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid. I've actually never published a review of the Ioniq Hybrid before. So the time when I was in Carlist, yeah, I only drove the Ioniq Hybrid for a short period of time, so I didn't have a chance to review that. Let's see. Next comment will be Terry Anthony. Historical lesson for the Subaru WRX STI as well. Wow, that one, long history. Not sure which generation you are referring to, but I did review the WRX STI in 2015, so that's one review I will revisit, I guess. Pete Cartel, since you mentioned Focus TDCI, why not next video talk about Mark 2.5 Focus TDCI, another C segment during FD2 time, Lancer GT, Altis, Mazda 3, and others. Long topic, but yeah, that's what. Focus, Lancer. I've not reviewed the Lancer GT actually. Altis, I've reviewed 2 generations. I have 2 generations of the Altis review in Auto World. Mazda 3, yeah, plenty of video content right there. AKJW. Hi Con, my parents drive a 2014 CX-5 2.0 petrol. What I noticed is that the car is extremely jerky, especially at low RPM where it feels like the car doesn't know what gear to be in. Is this because of the Skyactiv engine? The car is also extremely sensitive to bumps cause of Mazda sport-oriented tuning. But I wonder if this is a similar characteristic for all its cars in their range. Is it still an issue in the latest CX-5? Dampening to drive this car around low-speed areas like town centers where the roads usually not maintained as well. Got me nauseous a few times. First question. Your car is 6 years old. How much mileage has the car clocked? Have you did an automatic transmission fluid change? So if your car is high mileage, the ATF has not been changed before, that may explain the issues with the jerking, because what you described to me, the symptoms, to me, my prime suspect would be the transmission. As for your ride, sensitive ride towards bumps, your car is 6 years old. Once again, how much mileage has the car clocked? Do check all your rubber bushings, your absorbers, all your suspension components. Okay, these are all wear and tear. So yeah, this could be something wear and tear. Refresh all the bump stops, all your bushings, and it should your car's behavior at the bumps definitely should improve. As for the jerking, I think you should look at the transmission. Nasro Akil, my father's Waja battery died. He just changed the battery without jumpstart the car first. Does it need some learning or tuning after the battery change? Well, the Waja is not that sophisticated a car, and especially if you're a manual transmission car, the only thing that you would need probably is, well, to reset the clock as well as the radio. The ECU may have some simple adaptive logic in there. If you drive an auto, that as well, but it's not something that I think if you drive the car as per normal for 1 or 2 weeks, it should be back to its usual self. Okay. Sutesh Sidhu, I went for the interview with Proton in 2012. They had the drop-in and 2 levels of IQ test along with 2 different interviews all in the same day. Passed the IQ test and also the interviews, but that was it. HR did not even come back to you to give a feedback or anything. There was no way for you to check with the HR to get an update or anything. Well, so curious, what job were you applying for? And since it's 2012, 8 years ago, what are you doing now? Guess it's just not meant to be lah, huh? And I've got a comment from Harry Kim. Harry Kim from Starship Voyager. He are commenting about the packages that we are offering together with Auto Detailer. You need to forego opportunity cost by paying the 1,000 upfront for basic treatment. Basically, you're helping with the retailer's working capital. I'd rather pay the 350 ringgit and instead have control over the 650 ringgit. During these times, never overcommit on gift cards and promotions when they request you to pay upfront. Well, all I can say is these are tough times. Okay, all businesses need to cari makan, and yeah, I mean, the auto detailer, their business is not cheap. They have they have state-of-the-art equipment. They have rental to pay. And their staff are all very highly trained, very skilled. They are amongst the most meticulous auto detailing crew in the business, and I know Darren pays his staff very, very well, and they deserve to be paid well. So naturally, in these trying times, cash flow will definitely be tight, and yeah, and naturally, his is not the only business that is doing promos like this, okay, in order to stay afloat. And what can I? And all I can say is, auto detailer, they are really amongst the most meticulous people out there, and you pay them. I mean, you get them to do a job. They will do a job for you, okay, and you'll be rest assured that it will be a satisfactory job, commensurate with the amount that you pay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, of course, it would be great if you pay that 350. If you were to use the service, you just pay 350 for one treatment, and along that way, that 650 ringgit, you use it to do something else with your money. Okay, but the choice is yours. Really, I mean, the choice is yours. You're not obliged to use their service, but yeah, I mean, it'd be great if you can help them. But basically, yeah, these guys, they are really good in their work, and I think whether you pay upfront 1,000 ringgit for X amount for 4 treatments, or you pay 350 ringgit every time, you will be assured that these guys will do a good job for you. That's all the questions I have, and before I sign off, let me just look through my email and see if there are any interesting news and updates. So firstly, from Ferrari, the Ferrari factories in Maranello and Modena are gradually returning to full production cycle, so that's good. And let's see what else. In closer to home, in Toyota, the Shah Alam plant is the Bukit Raja plant is restarting production today. The Shah Alam plant, which is the older plant, will start operation on 9th June at the end of the current MCO phase, of the newly extended CMCO phase. Both the Shah Alam and the Bukit Raja plant were shut down from 18 March, from the first day of MCO. Okay, here's something from Proton. If you guys are buying any new Proton, Persona, Iris, Saga, Exoras, X70, and you plan to use it for Queenie, and if you're planning to use it for e-hailing services, Proton will give you a 500 ringgit Petronas gift card. Okay, so 500 bucks of free fuel if you buy a Proton for e-hailing. Right, so yep, that's all the news I have to share with you guys, and also the Q&A session. So guys, as always, signing off with this message: stay home, stay safe, keep the questions coming. If you have any old car that you would like me to revisit my reviews that I did during my time in Autoworld or Carlist, or maybe even my early days here in Evo, drop me a line. Yeah, I'll be happy to go through with you guys again. Okay, and here is to all mothers out there. Sorry I didn't manage to convey this yesterday, but here's a belated Mother's Day greeting to all mothers celebrating the occasion. So yeah, thank you all for your sacrifices. Thank you all for bearing with the burden of pregnancy for 9 months, and the pain of childbirth in the labor hall, and also the headache of raising the kid after the kid is born. Okay, so guys, those of you whose moms are still around, be good to your mummies. Okay, if you haven't done anything for Mother's Day, it's not too late to do something special for them, or even better still, do something for them every day. Be good to your mommy every day. Okay, so nothing in this world is as great as a mother's love to her child. Okay, right. So yeah, that's it, guys. Take care out there. Stay safe. See you guys on the road once all this is over. Okay, cheers.